Okay, let's talk long distance throws. I'm going to make an attempt here to explain how I throw long distance. I'm sure others go about it differently. I'm not claiming any right or wrong way to go about it, just what works for me, okay? And let's remember, they certainly don't always work for me. I still fuck them up regularly, like a lot. But I've gotten better and more consistent, so hopefully I'm onto something here and not, wasting everyone's time. So with that out the way, let's talk about the different builds. I play native quests. Some aspects of my technique will differ from PC users depending on the build they play on. But from my limited PC experience, the Oculus build is very sensitive, and the Steam build has very low sensitivity with native build in between the two somewhere. So what this means is if you play on the Oculus build, you will need like a lot less physical motion to throw long distance, and I sort of assume that it'll be a little trickier doing the more precise shorter range throws, like if you want to throw through a window or something like that. It'll be harder because you have less overall movement to use to adjust your throw. So yeah, you guys might use a lot of little wrist flicks for that kind of stuff. And for the Steam user, has the opposite experience, needing a wider range of physical motion with more follow through, etc., like before releasing the nade for long distance. And conversely, they have more range of movement to use to dial in their more precise throws, like through a window or something like that. So if you play PC, just keep in mind your build will affect your throws, from what I'm saying. But it should just be a matter of adjusting my methods for sensitivity of your build. Next thing is lighting. If you do like I explain and you still can't get the grenade to go in a straight line, it could be lighting related. I had a lighting sweet spot in my old play space where, that's where all the magical consistency lived. And if I ended up straying into a corner of the room or, something like that, I'd often realize it because I'd try and throw a grenade and it would just shoot out of my hand in some funky, unintended direction, possibly at a teammate or something like that. Anyway, so just bear that in mind. And also, I think that's probably responsible for a lot of the grenades that just fall at your feet instead of helping you out. And on that, make sure that your camera lenses aren't gunked up on the headset, and if you use controller grips, it's possible that they could interfere with the tracking. But if all else sort of fails and you're still getting grenades landing at your feet, not just the odd one, but it's happening too much, just try and restrict the movement in your throw, less sort of pull back, just try and stop the controller leaving the vision of the headset camera, and hopefully that will help out. So yeah, I'm right-handed, but because stock user, I more or less never take the right controller out of the stock. So yeah, I throw everything left-handed. I do everything. Yeah, the rest of the game, tablet, all that, knife, it's all left-handed. So that is why, that's how I do it. But anyway, that's enough. That's enough foreplay. Let's get into it. So first off, it's an underarm throw. Okay, when it comes to long distance, underarm is the only way to go. I really don't think it's possible to get the same result overarm. So step one, this is how we're going to do it. hold the nade at arm's length away from your chest, and keep your arms straight, not bent at the elbow or anything like that. And you want to try and level up the top face of the grenade, this like flat surface at the very top here. Just try to make that, it's a bit of a rectangle. You want to try and keep that level, like along both axes, so it's not like tilting forward and it's not tilting to the side. And yeah, just try and keep it nice and straight up and down. And then you also want to sort of point this rectangle towards what you're aiming at. So this is just, you don't have to do any of this, okay? It doesn't actually matter how you hold the grenade, because I used to hold it lots of different ways and I could throw it pretty fucking straight all the time. But it's a matter of like just holding it the same way every time, so you want to get the consistency, you want to start the same way, and this is just an easy way to explain how to do that, okay? So if you've already got like another way that you do it, that's fine, you can do it the way you do it, but just remember that like for the long distance ones, it doesn't take much, a little bit of difference in the throw, and it ends up being pretty far off the mark all the way down the other end. So anyway, so for the purposes of this, just do it like this, alright? Just try and hold the fucking thing straight up and flat in your hand, and then once you've got that, you want to lock your wrist in place like that. Just the wrist, like the wrist moves fucking everywhere, right? It's got so much movement, and there, because of that, so much ability to mess the throw up. So you may need to even like focus on that when you're doing the throw. Just the wrist is locked, it's not going anywhere. You've sort of, I really feel like keeping the wrist locked is sort of the trick for me anyway. Oftentimes when I fuck it up, I know it, I know that I stopped thinking about that, and a little bit of wrist movement. And it's not to say that you can't hit the target, you can't be accurate with the wrist movement. You definitely can, but like it's just not the way. It's not the easy way to get consistency, okay? You want to just rule out all of those possibilities for changing the trajectory when moving your wrist a little bit this way or that way. So once you've got it held flat, pointed, with the little thing towards where you want it to go, you can stick your index, your pointing finger out while you're holding it. You can point that at what you're throwing it at. It doesn't matter. It's just about doing it the same way every time, okay? So yeah, I'm saying point this rectangle at what you want to hit, keep it flat, and then what you're going to do is just bring your arm down. You can just do this slowly, but what you're doing is you're creating the path that you're going to bring it back up on, right? So you're looking at the thing you want it to hit. You can see, you've got your flat little black surface rectangle there, and that's just going to come down underneath what you want to hit. And then, you can do that a couple times if you want, just to line yourself up. And your wrist is locked, and your elbow is locked, and it's literally just your shoulder is letting your arm swing down and back up. All right. So downward motion can be slow, and it's just once you're ready to come back up, you're going to do it quickly, but it's not, have a play around. You don't need to, like, I know I've gave myself some dead arms just throwing too many grenades and putting way too much speed and motion and effort into the thing. It really doesn't need that. You get the max distance pretty good without breaking your arm. So just figure that out But yeah, if you find yourself like I was, just throwing hundreds of grenades, and just don't hurt yourself. Anyway, yeah. So once you bring it up quick, and then it's just a matter of finding that moment to release your finger on the grip button without a whole lot of other wrist movement. Remember, so you swing your arm back up, you let go of that thing, and the grenade just sails off, hopefully in a straight line. And if it doesn't go the whole distance that you're aiming for, I mean, that's an easier thing to fix than not getting the straight line. The straight line is what it's all about. So figuring out when to release is important, but it's like secondary to figuring out how to get it to go straight, And it's possible that if it's not going straight, it is because when you're releasing it, you're doing something inconsistently with your release. So I don't know. I know, like when I'm bringing it back up, I don't have all my fingers on the controller. It's like I'm holding it loosely, and it just let go of that button, and off she goes. So and if it goes up to, like, not as far as you want and went higher than you want, then you let go of it too late. But it's just a matter of sort of dialing those two things in, first off the straight line, and then the distance, and then for me, I gotta constantly practice this shit. Okay, every time I do it, every time I play. Part of like my warm up, I go in and into the shooting range, and I grenade the first, I think it's 8 or 9 targets in the shooting range. So you got like the 2 very close ones, 3 sort of medium ones, 4 or 5, I think, I can't remember, of the long range ones, and they are about the maximum range, those ones, so they're good. And then the 2 moving ones. So I go in there and I hit all of those, and then I'm feeling good. And honestly, it's always the long range ones that don't just, that I need to sort of relearn every time. But I guess, it makes sense. They are going to be the harder ones to hit. So, yeah. Practice it. It'll get better. Just aim for consistency. Aim for the same, aim for the straight line. And distance is just a matter of figuring out the right sort of speed to bring the arm at, and when to release, and that's it. The max distance release point for me on Native Quest build is roughly 3 o'clock. I think it's in between like 2 and 3 o'clock, close to 3 o'clock. So as you bring your arm up, it's like around the point where your controller gets to your shoulder height, maybe just a little bit above that for me. So you need to find that spot yourself, but yeah, that's a rough idea for you. So throughout this, I made constant reference to the straight line. I just want to clarify. I mean that at the point of release of the nade, it continues along the line of your upward swinging arm. But that's probably overthinking it. Just whenever I'm saying that, you can just think of it, as the grenade going where it's intended. It's going in the right direction, if that makes more sense. And yeah, the whole point of throwing it this way is just to gain as much control as possible over the angle the grenade leaves your hand at. I'm not sure if I'll do a short range video, but at closer ranges you can afford to be less rigid about the line of the throw. Nades have a big blast radius, This isn't sniping, you know. I don't throw the same way for close range, by the way. I don't line anything up or worry about my wrist being locked in position. So yeah, just wanted to clear that up before I wrap it up, because this has gone on. I really took the scenic route in this thing. Sorry about that. The video could probably have been 2 minutes long, and maybe it will be eventually, but yeah, for this first crack at it, you get what you get. So that's it. Just remember to equip the fucking things, you know. You never get decent if you're too stingy to spend the loadout points in the first place. And yeah, I mean, grenade kills are super rewarding. They're super fun, even when they're total flukes. So yeah, don't miss out. And let me know if I didn't make sense, or feel free to ask questions. And yeah, take it easy. Catch you later.